What's going on, YouTube friends and family? Welcome back to the channel. Got another fragrance rotation video for you guys, and this one makes it to where we are all caught up. So when I post another one Saturday or Sunday, that will be the actual week that I wore those fragrances. So it's good to be caught up. Busy time of year, and I'm very happy to do these videos, and they're very interesting, even to me, just having a record of what I wear. So we'll go through Monday. I actually started off with Unique Luxury, Zen'gi, a newer fragrance for them, not brand new, but it is one of their newer fragrances. And man, this one, it just has an extremely luxurious vibe to it. It's got honey, wine, ginger, some spices in there, some wood notes. I believe it has frankincense or olibanum in there, very similar. Oh man, yeah, powdery vibe, but it's more of like a honey than like dry powdery. You got the wine in there, which is nice because very different to Istanbul, which is another one in their lineup. This has a true wine note, where Istanbul is more of like a candied grape note. So very different, you know, that they listed wine in here, and it really does. It smells more bitter, almost slightly boozy, not overly sweet, but of course you got the honey and the frankincense and stuff like that in there, and the spices. So man, I just absolutely love this fragrance for warm weather or cool weather. Very versatile. And if you haven't tried Zen'gi, one of the best ones from their house. They have so many good ones, but for that particular style, I think it's probably one of the best ones for their entire lineup. I really enjoy Zen'gi. So Wall Street from Bond number 9. You guys know this bottle if you followed my channel. About 20 years old, and it's just gotten better in my opinion. A little stronger, a little greener, a little bit more salty than I remember. You know, it's not one of those fragrances that's gotten more sweet over time. It's one of those fragrances where the ambergris, the vetiver, and like the sea kale notes have kind of taken over a little bit. Wall Street is not for the faint of heart. It is a very marine and green fragrance. It's not like a typical soft blue fragrance. It does have a little hint of like freshly printed paper, dollar bills, and ink. But mainly for me, especially the way this bottle has aged, it's really just turned more and more into a marine fragrance with some green notes in there. And that's what it reminds me of. It reminds me of a very stormy sea, kicks up all the seaweed on the beach. It's, in a lot of ways, with the amount of ambergris and vetiver in here, it kind of smells a little bit like a violent fragrance, if that makes any sense. You know, it's non-apologetic, maybe too marine for some. And of course, ambergris is very natural, and they use quite a bit of it in here. So some smell a little more fishy than others. This one really just smells slightly sweet and salty with a lot of green notes. Man, yeah, love Wall Street. I had a friend buy a newer bottle of this. I was very impressed at how similar it was because he smelled mine. And, you know, he was just saying really the only difference is he just felt that mine was a little bit saltier and maybe just a slight bit stronger just because of the aging on there in terms of just how the smell came across, not really the longevity of the projection, but very, very similar. So great job on Bond number 9, keeping the real ambergris in there and not really changing the formula over the years. Probably part of the reason Wall Street has gotten more expensive because the price of ambergris just keeps going up and up and up. So Amouage Reflection 45. One of my favorite fragrances. We wore this on Wednesday here. So Wall Street was on Tuesday, and again, this one, very versatile fragrance, strong enough to where you can wear it in cool weather or cold weather. For me personally, I save it more for spring and summer. This one, man, it's got frankincense, myrrh, opompanax, juniper. It's got quite a few things that the regular Reflection Man does not have, and it gives it a little bit more of a heavy, resiny type of vibe, more of an Amouage feel to it. Really enjoy Reflection 45. Gets a lot of compliments. Again, great wearability, not really a situational fragrance. You can pretty much wear this for any occasion, whether it's dressing up or even if it's just casual, as good as this fragrance is, but it's very versatile. So one of the reasons I really enjoy Reflection 45. Now, on Thursday, Xerjoff Toni Iommi Monkey Special. I know a lot of people who have this as their favorite fragrance from the entire house of Xerjoff, and these are people who have, you know, 40, 50 in their collection, so that says a lot. I don't know if it's my personal favorite, you know, maybe for this type of category with the sweet type of fragrances, maybe it's my favorite. It's just really, really good. Definitely in my top 5. In fact, I think I had it in my Xerjoff top 5 video, or top 6, whichever one I did. And there's not a whole lot to say about this fragrance. You kind of get what you get. You know, it's got passion fruit. It smells like some spices in there, caramel. Really nice rum note, very sugary rum note. One of the sweeter fragrances that I have tried, and maybe one of the sweetest fragrances in my collection. You know, just between the passion fruit and the rum. I think it's got caramel in there as well. And Toni Iommi Monkey Special, it's developmental. It stays sweet the entire way through. And it's also another one of those fragrances that it does keep the top notes longer than you would expect. You know, you get that rum and passion fruit with the spices all the way through. So great job by Xerjoff. I really enjoyed the fragrance. And down the road, I may get a 100 ml bottle. I'm not quite sure. But really, for a lot of situations, especially for summer and springtime, with the way that this fragrance comes across, kind of a sweet tropical vibe, really enjoy this for spring and summer. It's great stuff. So that was on Thursday. Friday, we got Baccio Immortale from Argos. I can't get enough of this fragrance, and the more I wear it, the more I enjoy it. Raspberry, it's got leather twice, so the leather is in the opening notes, and it sticks all the way through the dry down. But a lot of people who watch my videos know that this is one of my favorite fragrances for a reason, and that reason is the dry down. It's got vanilla, oud, musk, birch. It's got the leather again in the base or middle notes, I believe. So definitely a leather-based fragrance. Not very similar to a lot of other leather ones I've tried. It's very easy to take leather fragrances and say they smell similar just because leather is such a prominent note. This one's a very clean leather, not really dirty or animalic. Raspberry gets a lot of freshness on there. And for me, it's just a beautiful fragrance, but the best part, as good as the opening is the dry down, very developmental. And after about 6 to 8 hours on skin, this fragrance really starts to turn into magic, at least for me it does. And really enjoy all of Argos's products, but Baccio Immortale, again, like a lot of these, like Reflection 45 and Toni Iommi and even Zen'gi, just very versatile. You know, it's definitely strong enough and proper enough to wear in cold weather with the leather, spring and summertime, high heat situations with that juicy raspberry in there, the clean leather. You can really just wear this fragrance anytime, anywhere, dressing up, date night. It's just easy to grab and go. And one of those fragrances that, for me, it's just easy to reach for. You don't really have to second guess or think too hard about it. Just beautiful stuff from the House of Argos. So, Saturday, got a really funny story about this fragrance. So Saturday, I chose Silver Oud from Amouage. Maybe a little bit of an odd choice for spring or summer. But I don't think there's anything too weird about it. You really just got to be careful with the dosage when you spray it in the higher heat. But that's definitely a fragrance that you can wear in high heat situations. Maybe just something not to overspray. Now, normally I do save this for cool or colder weather, but I would say the Amouage Silver Oud, again, high heat situations, it went very well. And the funny story about this fragrance is, so I wore this Saturday. I was meeting up with a really good friend that I used to work with. He works for a different company a little bit further away now. We decided to get together, go to a nice liquor store. We picked out some scotches, go cook a steak, kind of boys' night, you know. So when I'm leaving the liquor store, this lady comes out and follows us. And she's like, excuse me. And I figured maybe I left my wallet in the store, or maybe, you know, the price was incorrect, because I didn't turn around. There was a lady at the store that checked us out, so I figured maybe it was her. It was actually a lady in the store that followed us out, and she said, excuse me, what cologne are you wearing? And of course, we weren't sure which person she was referring to. So she got closer to me and she said, you. She goes, what cologne are you wearing? I said, well, it's called Amouage Silver Oud. And she goes, that is the best smelling cologne I've ever smelled. So it's something to where I don't think she was trying to pick me up or anything. She was a little bit older, probably wanted it for her husband, wanted to know the actual name of it, where to buy it, what the price was. So of course, you know, I told her retail is about $400 to $500 when it first came out. I think it's $380 on Amouage's website. But of course I told her about like Joma Shop, that they had this available for I think the low to mid 200s, and that was a good place to buy it. So she was appreciative of that, but I don't think I've ever had anybody follow me out of a store. As much fragrance as I wear and as much as I'm out and about, I don't think I've ever had anyone follow me out of a store and ask the name of a fragrance that I'm wearing. And Silver Oud was one of those fragrances to where that absolutely happened. Very interesting what this fragrance does in the air and the compliments I receive on it. In fact, I'm gonna have to probably do pretty soon a top complimented fragrances in my entire collection. And Silver Oud would definitely be on there. You know, it is a little bit strong, a little bit odd smelling out of the bottle when you first smell it, but when you spray it on skin and this fragrance gets in the air, at least for me on my skin, this stuff just seems to turn into magic. So very woody, ashy, sweet, resiny, a little bit funky and animalic. You know, it does have a little bit of that with the oud, very strong oud note in there. Cypriol, patchouli. This fragrance really just has it all. And I can see why some people may like it, why other people may not like it. And for me, this fragrance is just at a 10 out of 10, home run. It's one of those fragrances to where it's almost shocking the amount of compliments I receive. And I almost liken it to Argos Love Triumphs Over War. They don't smell anything alike, not even close to the same fragrances. But Love Triumphs Over War from Argos, kind of like Silver Oud. When I first smelled it, it wasn't my favorite. It continues to grow on me. Silver Oud has become one of my favorites. But like Love Triumphs Over War and Silver Oud, I was kind of shocked at the amount of compliments I got from them. And it's probably just because of what the fragrance smells like in the air around you and the trail that it leaves, more than what it smells like out of the bottle. So kind of shocking the amount of compliments I get on those two fragrances, even though at first they were both a little bit challenging for me. So that just shows with a little bit of patience, you can certainly be rewarded. Silver Oud is one of those fragrances that is just a very dark, mysterious, and very, seems to be on me anyway, a crowd-pleasing fragrance for something that is so unique and strong. So wonderful stuff. And I followed that up on Sunday just because of the vibe of the fragrance with Andy Warhol's Silver Factory from Bond Number 9. And the reason I followed that up is because it's got a similar vibe to Silver Oud. Not as funky or animalic or smoky. This does have incense, but it's more of a sweet wood resin incense. Slightly old church smell. I described that with Neiman Lion as well, like a really sweet, kind of musty old wood. And there's a lot more to Silver Factory than that, but that's really basically what you get with the fragrance. It's just really warm, dense and sweet wood resins with incense, very slightly smoky. It's got some other notes in there, but for the majority of it, as a perfume concentrate, it's somewhat linear, which I don't mind at all because I love the fragrance from the top, middle, and base notes. But again, from the top, middle, and base notes, it does not change that much. It starts to get a little softer as it kind of dries down. It's not quite as in your face with those warm, woody resins. But that's really just the DNA of the fragrance all the way through. But it is absolutely wonderful stuff. Again, Silver Factory, people seem to love it on me. And when I first tried it years and years ago, I had a bunch of samples of it. And I grew to enjoy it a little bit more. I didn't quite like it at first. And when I ran out of all those samples, I was like, well, maybe it's time to buy a bottle. And I wasn't really keeping up with things that much, and it was discontinued. And they had, I believe, a couple of the regular Bond Number 9 Silvers, which of course was the same fragrance, just repackaged without the Andy Warhol theme. And by the time that was there, I don't even think that they were selling that on Bond Number 9's website anymore. It was everything that you bought was basically on the secondary market for Bond Number 9 Silver. So very interesting how kind of quickly that went. I think they just ran out of the creative licensing agreement. And then once Silver happened, I don't know exactly why they discontinued the regular Bond Number 9 Silver, but that's just what happened. So I'm very happy to finally get a bottle of this, and it is the original Silver Factory, of course, with the Andy Warhol stuff on there, which makes it more valuable and a little bit more special to me personally because that's what I grew up with. And yeah, can't say enough good things about the fragrance. Again, it won't be for everybody, but if you love incense, this may be my favorite incense woody fragrance that there is. So guys, enjoyed doing the video for you. Got a lot more coming for the channel. I'm gonna try to do a video or two in between posting the next fragrance rotation on Saturday or Sunday coming up this week. So stick around for that. Enjoyed seeing you guys again. Hope you have a great week, all right? Bye.